has that recontextualization of the concept of the God of the Stories through that line changed how you felt about that line when you delivered it as a different Loki all those years ago?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it was a great line. Even then, I loved saying it.
I had to say it on the way out.
It's so grand and theatrical. And in that moment, he's I think he's covering. He's improvising.
Yeah.
He could back it up. Well, at least he tries.
Till Hulk shows up, it's a whole thing.
Hulk and the Avengers, that pesky team.
They keep showing up.
Yeah. But yes, the most exciting thing, I remember when I was, I cast my mind back to a couple of years ago now, almost exactly, and I was in Los Angeles with the great team who make Loki, Kevin Wright, our producer, Kasra Farahani, our production designer, Eric Martin, the head writer, and some other brilliant producers and writers who are part of the writers' room. And we had a board, and at the top of the board, we had a big sign that just said "Glorious Purpose?" ?
Beautiful.
Because I kept insisting, I think, episode 1 of season 1, Loki discovers that the glorious purpose that he felt was a part of his mission and a part of the center of his capacity to derive meaning from his life was fraudulent, a lost cause with no foundation. It leads to nothing. It leads to the suffering of his friends and his own death. And Mobius gives him this second chance, and this journey through the TVA and trying to understand himself, meeting Sylvie and going on a journey with her, meeting the other Loki variants, and then finally getting to the Citadel at the end of time and thinking, how do I reinvigorate, redefine, rediscover this sense of purpose? How could I derive meaning from my life? And it's such a great engine for a character, just driving forward and making sure he doesn't waste it again. But then it also became a great question for every character. What's glorious purpose for Mobius? What's glorious purpose for Sylvie? How does she find purpose after she's done what she came to do and execute He Who Remains? What's glorious purpose for B-15, who finds out she had a life on the timeline? What's glorious purpose for the TVA? Suddenly all these people at the TVA, they think they've been working for this institution that claims to govern the order of time, and actually they find out that there is more moral ambiguity in their actions. And can this broken institution be repurposed for something better? Yeah. Which is a debate we have in the world all the time. Can broken institutions be reorganized without being swept away? So glorious purpose became this true north for the compass of the show. And of course for Loki and his desperation to make it mean something in the face of so much confusion and so much loss, and the stakes are really high.
Yeah.
You know, these the multiverse, you know, people are trying to destroy people's lives. So, and it led to these amazing conversations about the whole nature of purpose, which I think is very resonant in all of our lives. And I kind of believe that that's what we're all searching for. We want a purpose in our lives. And it led to some great discussions Kevin Wright and I used to have. We had a whiteboard and we wrote the great Socrates quote, "The unexamined life is not worth living."
It's a perfect parallel to
and you know, we started reading Viktor Frankl and Man's Search for Meaning, and his idea of that freedom and responsibility actually go hand in hand. You can't have freedom without responsibility, and you can't have responsibility without freedom. And I started quoting T.S. Eliot and everything else. But it felt like a fantastic and fruitful place to start, especially as in season 1 we've been talking about free will and predeterminism and all these kind of quite philosophical ideas, which have felt like a real, I couldn't believe they let us get away with it.
We were talking back there, I think